So, hello everybody. I hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing. Don't mind me if I sound a bit nasally. I've got some cold or something that's giving me a major, stuffy head. But anyway, as I am making this, the entire country really, is getting ready to experience quite the cold blast. I think we're even in my area set to be down pretty chilly. Probably gonna be a good freeze by the looks of it. We'll see. But the rest of the country for sure, gosh, all the way down to Texas, all the way down to South Mississippi, Alabama, North Florida for sure. You guys are going to get walloped with some cold air, and you know, a lot of people hesitate from growing tropical fruit trees because of this. And this is what this little quick video is about. Even though I'm in Florida in a tropical, climate, even though it's pretty normal for us to freeze pretty hard, I grow a lot of tropical fruit trees in pots. And this right here, this is a good example. This is an ice cream bean. And you can see she's flowering right there. She's got flower. She's a little beat up. It's really windy. It's a little lull in the wind, but we've been whipping in the wind, and it's winter, so everything looks a bit rough. But she's actually in a pot. She's a little bit large. Getting ready to move her into the greenhouse so she doesn't get cold. But you can see down there, she's grown in a pot. And even this snake fruit right here, beautiful. Look at her. She's in a pot. And gummy worm fruit, whatever you want to call it. Beautiful plant. She is in a pot. Look at that leaf on her, even though she's in a pot. Just gorgeous. And I grow a lot of tropical fruit trees in pots because putting them in the ground is just too risky. You can cover them, you can mulch them, but if you get sufficiently cold enough, it can be hard. I've lost many fruit trees by just covering them, putting some mulch around them, thinking they were good, and it just got too cold. But most mature trees can take it, but not always. You know what I mean? Star fruits are one that handle the cold extremely well where I am, but you may get colder than me wherever you happen to be. But anyway, back to, don't hesitate to stick fruit trees in pots. And we're going to go look at some of my sapodillas, and we'll talk a little more about the best kind of fruit trees. Not this, species word, but the best, way they're grown to stick in those pots. Beautiful ice cream bean. If you guys have never had fresh ice cream beans, oh, they're quite the treat. And I've actually got several varieties in pots here. This is just a couple of them. This one right here is just your standard edgeless, which is about a 6 to 8 inch pod, fat. Oh, really good tasting. I'll make a video when she fruits for me, which, that's another thing. We'll talk about fruit over there. Here we are. These are all fruit trees getting ready to get moved into my greenhouse. I was weeding them, gave them some fertilizer, cleaned them up a little bit. And we've got wax apples and canistel and sapodilla here. All different kinds of things, and they're all in, I think these are 5-gallon pots. These are very small pots. They're going to get upgraded this year to 10-gallon pots, but these were younger trees that are ready to go. But you can see, if you want to talk, if you're worried about fruit set in pots, there's not really a reason to worry about that. You can see all the fruit everywhere. Beautiful canistels. And I've been harvesting canistel and sapodilla for a few weeks now. We're in the beginning of January still. But the sapodilla and the canistel come in probably starting around November. Oh, excuse me. And fruit very well in pots. Look at this guy right here. Just loaded with fruit. And you can see there's no lack of fruit on these sapodilla. This is a larger variety right here. You can see nice big large fruits everywhere. Let's see. Oh, wind blowing. She's stuck on the cactus there, but beautiful, nice, large sapodillas. And these still got a little bit of growing to do. But they're full-size fruits. And off of this one plant here, we got about 15 Sapodilla. Off of this variety here, who is Silas Wood, which is a smaller variety, get about 30, 40 fruits, and we've already eaten several of them off of there. Same with the Canistels, and this is just a few of them that I have. Most of them have already been moved. And, but yeah, it is very easy to grow these tropical fruit trees in large pots. The larger the pot, the better. Anything over 5 gallon, honestly, you probably don't want to go anything under 10 gallon. But these were smaller plants when I put them in the 5 gallon, and then you can upgrade them. And I'd say the least size you want is a 10 gallon pot, which is not that large at all. Very easy to move, and you can have a full-blown tropical fruit tree anywhere from 5 to 6 feet, maybe a little larger, in a 10 gallon pot its entire life. And you can have amazing, delicious fruits that you wouldn't get otherwise, and you have more control over the growth. It's easy to move into a greenhouse or shed or garage to protect from the cold, and that way you can grow them basically anywhere. So there's zero reason, zero hindrance to growing some of these super tasty and super productive tropical plants. You know, just add some spice and variety to what you grow. Everybody can grow berries and apples and stuff, and we should. Delicious. I grow them too. They're able to grow on the ground in my area. All the blackberries and blueberries and peaches and plums and apples. But there's nothing quite like a delicious, very unique Sapodilla or Canistel fruit, or the wax apples, or the ice cream beans. Now the key to being able to grow, this is a secret. You may pay a little bit more money for it, but it's worth it. And sometimes you have to do a little bit of hunting to find them. But most of your trees are either going to be grafted or air layered. And well, they're both pretty good. A lot of trees are grafted. I don't really like grafted trees, especially when it comes to some of the more tropical trees that do just fine on their own roots, especially if you're putting them in pots. A grafted tree, which is going to be put on seedling rootstock a lot of times, is going to want to grow much larger than an air layered tree. So whenever possible, if you're buying a Canistel or a Sapodilla, a wax apple, even the ice cream beans, if you can get rooted cuttings or air layers, that's the way you want to go, because they're much smaller plants. They're mature plants, and they'll produce as mature plants, but they will stay a much smaller size. That's going to do a lot better potted than if it was grafted onto a seedling, which is going to have a full-size tree roots. They are, going to want to spread out and grow fairly large. All of these Sapodillas, some of these are air layered, some of these are grafted. And over the years, the air layers do much better in pots. And I've learned the hard way. I never used to really like Sapodilla. One year I went out, I have a bunch more here. There's a beautiful little plum. And I bought tons of Sapodillas. Put them in the ground, like, I'll just protect them, So I did. I put a wire cage around them when winter came around. Leaves, put plastic, and they still froze. And I ended up losing literally thousands of dollars in Sapodillas that I'd went and bought. And so I'm like, yep, that's enough. I keep all of my precious tropicals now in large pots. And you can see these are 3 gallon pots right here. These were small grafted trees that I got. And they will be upgraded to 5 gallon pots and eventually into 10 gallons. And that will be their home forever. They will not pretty much go into anything larger than that, and they'll still be easy to move. They'll still fruit great. Super easy. But that's just a little tip, guys. Don't be afraid to grow some of those amazing different fruits and whatnot that you want to grow because you think you have to have in the ground or they won't grow in pots. I have not met a single plant yet that cannot be grown in a pot. It's just the various sizes. And bananas, you know, they're different. They're herbaceous monsters that the smallest you probably want to go is maybe a 20-gallon pot for a dwarf variety. But for woody fruiting tropical trees, if you get them air layered or they're from cuttings, even if you do find them grafted, you might have to do a little larger or just prune it more. But I find air layers are the best way to go to grow them in pots. Just like these guys. A lot of these are all air layers right here actually. These are all air layered Sapodilla from mature plants. So not only do they fruit really fast, they do it at a much smaller size and they stay more compact. The roots don't get out of hand, and there you go. So you can have your delicious tropical brown sugar. Oh, I love Sapodillas. If you've never had a good Sapodilla, guys. Before I got into Sapodillas, the other ones I'd ever had were commercially produced ones that taste like crap, you know. They're not sweet, they're super grainy, they pick them when they're still green. But I encourage you, find a Sapodilla, guys, an air layered Sapodilla. They can be a little hard to find, but they're worth it. And maybe pay a little bit for it, but Sapodillas are still on the expensive side because they can be a pain to graft, but they air layer really well. But find you some Sapodillas, guys. They're super easy to grow, but it's just the fruits of them are just mind-blowingly delicious. And I've got several varieties here. Same with the Canistel. I've got, gosh, between the Canistel, the Sapodillas, the Sapotes, I've got probably at least 10 varieties of each. And they all have their different flavors and whatnot. The Canistel, oh, that's another one. If you've never had a really delicious ripe egg fruit, oh, amazing. But love you guys. Grow food. Don't be afraid to grow those tropicals in pots and just move them around. See you later. Love you. Sapodillas. I've probably spent like 5 minutes here just drooling over the Sapodillas I'm going to get to eat soon. We've eaten probably about 60 of them so far this year off my potted plants. And we haven't had any ripe ones in about a week. So, yeah, all those will be ripening up in the next few weeks. And these trees will probably be flowering and fruiting later this year for me. They're about 4 feet in 3-gallon pots, guys, in case you can't tell. These are 4.5 foot trees in pots, absolutely thriving, especially this big beast right here, all that new growth. And they will give me tons of fruit over the next years with, you know, me not having to worry about nematodes in the soil, whether or not I have to protect them from huge cold snaps, you know, pigs getting out and digging them up, or rabbits ringing them and eating the bark. Which, yeah, rabbits like eating Sapodilla bark, in case you were wondering. So, there you go.